I got your lure.
Great.
Hey, what's up, guys? Shawn Ryan with Vigilance Elite, here with Dave Rutherford, the man, the myth, the legend, Marcus Luttrell, and the man of mystery, the wizard.
The wizard!
So anyways, we've been getting a lot of story time requests still. So what do you want to talk about, Marcus?
Yeah, we always talk about, or our generation, about the SEAL stories, but let's talk about some Frogman stories, because I love being a SEAL, but I truly am a Frogman, dude. So let's go back to the nuts and bolts and basics of it, and we'll talk, let's talk some MAROPS.
All water, huh?
Yep.
Well, I got one that's like Mark 1 motto Frogman stuff. On the island, hydrographic reconnaissance, right? Night 1, night evolution. Boat crew goes out, the whole class, we're doing a parallel. And one of our O's, Mr. W, was getting sick. Like, he had diarrhea for a few days. And so he couldn't clear it up no matter what. So he's like, man, I don't know about this, dude. We're going to be out there for like 8 hours, man. It's going to suck. I'm like, no, bro, you'll be good. Be good. Just, we got it bound up. You should be. We go out, we go in and bird shit rock, right? We enter in and we go over, we start, right? And like, of course, my dive pair is the last one on the thing, you know, furthest out. He's next. And then some other buddies from our little crew are next to him. So we start going, and you can just, after like an hour, you can hear him like, you know, he's miserable, bro. And I'm like, yo, Mr. W, dude, you all right, man? He's like, oh, Rut, man, I'm hurting, bro. And I was like, dude, bro, just let it go, man. Just let it go. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. He's like, no, dude, I can't. A couple more hours into it. Finally, he's like, man, screw it. And you hear him go, oh, oh, oh. Dude. We're dying. And he's like, oh. He's like, oh my God, it's not stopping. So we finally get in, man, and he's like going, and like we're briefing, and you can see him starting to go like this, and he's like, dude, it's so itchy. It's so itchy. And we get over there, dude, and I'm like, come on, dude. And finally we're cut so we can take, we did team gear, we did, crew gear, and now it's us. And he's like, Rut, please help. And I was like, okay. So as I brought my other buddy Sandy over, and so we're going, and dude, I'm like, dude, I'm not touching. I'll scrub you, but I'm not touching. So Sandy's got the hose on full blast, right? And he goes down, he turns around, and he's like, zzz, and as soon as it opens on his neck, dude, bro, it's like he had been spattered, and it was his whole body, dude, from his neck to his ankles. Every orifice of his body was covered in fecal particulate, dude. Dudes were vomiting. Dudes were like, dude. He's like, get it off. We scrubbed him for a good 2 hours, like full-blown Simply Green. Remember the Simply Green? Mop D, spraying him like, he's like, use bleach, scrubbing him, man. I've never seen anybody more miserable in my life. MAROPS.
That's
nasty MAROPS, Frogman stuff.
Foul. Frogman stuff. That's part of it.
all covered in shit.
Cold, wet, and miserable. All covered in your own shit, dealing with your own shit.
Right?
Who's up, Wizard?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a MAROP story, but we did a climbing trip. It starts as a climbing trip.
You know,
We
it's
went
not a
to New
MAROP
River
story if you
Gorge
have to
for
open with.
climbing.
I don't know if this is a MAROP story, right?
But it's gotta
No, we went up to New River Gorge for climbing, and they've got the Gully River. It comes into the top of the dam, and then on the bottom is the lower Gully River. I didn't know this until much later, but this river has class 5 rapids. They're if you look it up,
Serious.
it's that. This is one of the most dangerous rivers in the
on
country.
the East Coast.
It's
in
below the
West
New
Virginia.
River Gorge dam.
Yeah.
And when it's open at full flood, it's insane. So somebody who had done this trip before said, you know what we should do? We don't have rafts, but we have Zodiacs, which have a critical difference between
Flat bottom boat rafts?
Well, the transom.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
The transom tends to act as an anchor. And we're like, man, Frogman, half of us are not wearing life jackets, any kind of protective gear. We're like, we got some water. We'll be done with this in about 6 hours. We put these things in the water.
You did it.
I gained an appreciation for white water I had never seen in my life. At one point, I don't know the name of the wrapper, it takes the whole river and necks it down into about a 10-foot gap that goes which drops off a short waterfall directly into a rock and splits in a Y. So the first jokers that went through this,
kayak sections in the world.
the first jokers that went through this lost the boat. Eventually, it gets pinned, flattened like a pancake against this, with the full force of the entire river driving it into the rock. And so we took the boat to the side, ended up throwing a carabiner out there attached to 1 inch as a hook to try to latch on, because it's a little island on this boulder, to latch onto the boat. Eventually, I get hooked. I'm like, guys, hold on. Pull this as tight as you possibly can. I'm going to hand over hand it across the river to get out there, so you can rehook it at a leverage point and peel the boat off the rock, which is what happened. And as soon as it peeled off the rock, my part was to jump off the back of the boulder into the boat, which worked out pretty well. This is, I mean, a trip at low flood and a regular, boat that doesn't, the problem is that transom catches on every single rock and it doesn't bounce, float, like you see in the nice videos they want you to buy. And we get halfway down with the river, and it's in the gorge, right? We're halfway down with the river, and now it's dark. So now we're doing one of the most dangerous rivers in the United States in Zodiacs in the dark with no protective equipment.
In West Virginia.
In West Virginia. In the dark, it's a whole new animal because you can't see anything. You can see above the canyon, and then you just hear, and then your world just turns into a washing machine.
Oh my gosh.
How
many dudes were in there going with you?
We had 3 total boats, and I think we had 4 or 5 of a boat. That, I think I have a little PTSD from that. I'm not joking. That,
I cannot
being
believe.
a washing machine.
I cannot believe your chief and your OIC is like, yep, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
We had a very special senior chief.
Yes, you did.
Whose idea was it? Did you get hazed?
I don't know if I could. I'm just gonna keep that.
Not
Yeah, I'd keep that one inside.
Guys, y'all hear when it was Gold Squadron when they were in the Scarab coming up next to the boat and they got sucked underneath? It was JT was in it. He got sucked underneath the ship. A Scarab racing boat got sucked underneath the ship with the guys in it and spit out the back. Y'all didn't hear about that?
No.
Oh, it was a good one.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Yeah. Wow.
I don't remember what kind of ship it was. I'd imagine it might have been one of those cruise ships.
Yeah.
Because that's what they
were boarding, yeah.
Right. Should have asked Robbie about it, but as far as crazy stories outside of the ones I've been in, that one was pretty nuts.
Right.
Every time someone asks about Morehouse, or I think about it, there's 2 stories, and I'm gonna kind of smash them together because the middle part of one of them is good and the end part of So then in Morehouse, when we have to do it, we're married to that boat, right? Frogman, Nakoa, Meikeikai, Warrior from the Sea. I mean, that's part of our loadout. I tell most frogs that we keep our draggers in our locker, they lose their mind. They're like, what? I mean,
This is that SDV.
SDV, right? Yeah. So, yeah, in the water every day. Well, so we're fixing to have to do an over the horizon kind of work up, train up. Morehouse for most team guys was a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Ours is 6 to 8 weeks plus and then they don't call it Morehouse. That particular one is specifically focused on Morehouse, but the rest of the workup you still have to use the Zodiac. So it's all Morehouse, right? It's freezing and there's a storm on, man, and our wetsuits they were all tucked into the rigging, so they didn't get a chance to dry, so we jocked up, real cold too, so the layers were on and on. Man, that crap story you just told, you do enough Morehouse, that's common hat.
That happens every day.
Every day. And the trick is how to position yourself on the Zodiac to where the pressure on your butt shoots it down the backside of your leg.
Oh, man.
You get good at that. So you're jocked up, plus we have all our combat gear on too. And we're 30 minutes into this I'm not gonna say what we're capable of, but you know what I'm talking about, right? At least we're going over the horizon, you know that.
Yeah.
And man, as soon as the sun goes down, I could feel the little itch, but you're thinking, no, if I think about it, then it'll come. But if I don't think about the baboon ass, it won't, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing, our mental capabilities and tricking ourselves is pretty amazing, right? So, no other. And if no one's had the wet baboon ass kind of deal, imagine someone pulling the hair out of your ass, but it's itching real bad. That's kind of but for hours. So much so where I'm like, stop the boat, dude, and I de-jock to jump in the water to get back out, to get it out of there.
Off,
it's that bad. It's literally like a Chinese water torture, but on the backside.
Does anyone actually know what it is?
Yeah.
It's just,
Swamp
is it just
irritation.
irritated?
Yeah,
it's just
irritation.
irritated
It's the
skin.
acid in your
Salt,
urine
the
that
acid,
gets in
the urine.
with the salt that gets in your hair follicles.
It's a great concoction.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So man, we're hours into this. I mean, it's 3 in the morning or whatnot, and when we're going that far out, you know, we're rendezvousing with a sub, so there's no known fixed point. So we're calibrating the center point in the middle of the ocean is very difficult, especially at night, because there's things that you see as a Navy SEAL in SUVs that no other human being, unless you're on a shipwreck, could see. The blackest place on the planet we talk about is underneath an aircraft carrier at night, but in the middle of the ocean at night, when the full moon's going down and it hits the water, it looks like it electrifies. It looks like white air. It's
Wow.
jet black. It's
That's
the most
wild.
beautiful thing you've ever seen. So, long story short, we get tasked to T&E, all kinds of stuff for radar sensitivity and whatnot. And there's a couple of vessels that are civilian vessels that are actually SF vessels, but we don't talk about them.
Yeah.
Well, our job is to penetrate that vessel. So man, we open up these boxes, right? And there's these, you remember the puffy jackets back with the Raiders jackets?
Yeah.
All right, but it was sterling silver. It wasn't even tactical, right? It had the hood. I mean, when we got dressed up it looked like the Michelin Man from head to toe, plus our fucking wetsuits, right? And then they had these grid panel things that we put on the outside, so it looked like it had walls, right? And we had to it had a thing that hooked up to the motor for exhaust, but it didn't work right, so it backfilled into the deal. And we were like, coming up on this boat, right? And they're on the microphone, because they're telling us to come in so they can see us, but we're making passes. Now we're moving, all right? And dude, we're all in there with these suits, sweating. God dang, dude, it was so miserable. And they're like, see how close you can get. And we drive the boat, and I don't know what the boat was doing, but it sent a gyro wake out the side, and it swallowed us into the ship. And when it did, all those cells blew off the fucking Zodiac. And then we're sitting there like sardines in a can, like, hey, you know, right? And by the way, the brief was, don't lose these panels.
Because each one of them is like $1 million.
And it's one of a kind. So we lost them. And the ship had to put the panel lights, the search lights on, and we spent 6 hours looking for those damn panels, dude. And I mean, God, then we lost a motor, and the rigging on the other motor in the bow had twisted, and JJ was up there in that damn suit sweating with that diesel fuel. And I mean, and we're rocking now.
Oh.
Dude, it was so miserable. So we finally get this thing situated, and they cast us back in. I mean, the sun's about to come up, right? And that's kind of the coolest part, because the ocean's starting to rib, right? So if you catch a swell with the bird,
Yeah.
Getting up on step, right, and you just flow back. It's like riding a wave. It's pretty. It's intoxicating. It makes you go to sleep. So we're all passed out on top of each other, like you would see in a life raft after a week, right? That's kind of what we look like.
Right,
Just you camping in there, we're all jocked up and stuff like that, man. Everybody's passed out, and all of a sudden, dude, JJ. He goes, mother, just starts cussing his ass off, right? And then he starts swinging like this, right? And then he gets his rifle, and he starts going like this. He charges her handle to shoot, and nothing was in there. So he pulls his freaking blade out, right? And he's about to go to work on a rubber raft in the middle of the ocean with a knife. One flying fish came out of water and hit him in the nose while he was asleep.
No!
And broke his nose. Broke his nose. We got a picture of it. Broke his damn nose, dude. And he woke up because of that. So he didn't know. He thought one of us, but then you could smell the fish, right? You're like,
Yeah.
what? Oh no, we're sinking. Yeah, that's
Yeah, right,
water's
right.
in the boat. There's fish. I can smell it.
Oh my God!
Dude, holy shit, man.
Oh my God!
We finally figured out what it was, and we cast in, and the rest is history. But as far as Marab goes, all of them I've done, man. That one was nuts.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
It makes me very sorry I missed out on STV.
Oh, dude.
The stories are great. I mean, the job.
They're endless, dude.
That's a great story, though.
Marops, mid-December, like we're getting ready to go on like Christmas leave. We're going to Iraq, So I'm already, you know how I am. I get fucking pissed. You know what I mean? Like, oh great, we're doing MAROPS in mid-December, and we're going to Iraq. Genius.
Yeah.
So
Bob Beach. Yeah.
yeah, and so MAROPS takes like a lot of planning. For those of you guys that don't know this, like you gotta, you know, the tide charts, depths, time, you know, all that shit. I can't even remember how to do it. I just remember like, so
Time,
anyways,
speed, distance, all that crap,
Yep.
man. It's basically you're launching a ship, right? So
Yeah.
when they know all that, and then they got to know the secrets. It's miserable.
so we're doing an over the horizon, going into an OTB, it was an FTX, and it's like just above freezing. So we launch out we just launch off the Little Creek Pier or whatever, and we get out there right away, dude. A fucking storm comes,
Of course.
and you know how that is. Everybody's getting fucking lost. Nobody can find each other, and the stupid ass rubber. Remember the rubber M60s?
The shapes.
Yeah.
To simulate so we don't lose a real one.
Yeah.
Even though we don't lose anything. But rubber 60 punches a hole right through the fucking boat.
No.
So we're out there, you know, and my boat basically turns into a fucking elf shoe. You know, so the whole fucking front end is like out. It's freezing ass. We're in those shitty ass dry suits, which don't work worth a shit, you know, and
Keeps you cold and dry.
yeah,
right, cold and dry, right? Freezing.
So everybody's like hauling ass, like everybody's like making, you know, once somebody else is more miserable, then everybody's fucking happy except the most miserable crew. And so here's my dumb ass. We probably had, I don't know, man, big swells. And here I am, like, pulling the George Washington, you know, on the front of the fucking Zodiac, like, what the fuck are we doing here? You know, Swick is coming in with the Mark V's to, you know, we're doing like a rendezvous. Right. So, yeah, so that like threw us way behind. We missed the fucking tide, right? Oh, so then we're like in the flats, I don't even know where, and we couldn't even, the elf shoe wouldn't go. So everybody's like barely like skimming by, and we're like, no shit, like doing the tromping through, you know what I mean? Holding the boat and tromping for.
When in Budge, right? When we rigged for land.
Yeah. It was like, motherfucker, you know? So we finally, and we're like, Chief, call this shit. Like, we're going to Iraq. It's 32 degrees out. This sucks. Like, we've already lost shit. My boat is a fucking elf shoe. Like, come on, dude. Nope. Keep going. Yeah. We're going to finish it. So we do, in the elf shoe. Fucking back in the fucking elf shoe, launching up the Mark V, nav in, you know, do the OTB, set up a hide site. Now it's below freezing. We're sitting there like watching. You remember the stupid ass targets?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Tradet doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, no,
but they won't let us like call the op, the FTX. And they got like their stupid 2x4 missile launchers. RNS, like shooting SATCOM and imagery and shit. And I'm like literally sitting there watching a fucking puddle. Like I watched a puddle like freeze. And I'm like, this is fucking so stupid.
That's how much time we got.
Right.
Finally, our chief calls it, and you know is like, you know what? Fuck this. We're done. And do you guys have the Kank Bird dance?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody's like comes over comms like, hey, we're done, fuck this. The chief finally got pissed off, and then everybody, like, you see everybody, like, everybody's all warm and happy now all of a sudden.
Like magically, right?
Oh, God.
Yeah, dude.
Kank Bird's flying overhead, everybody.
Right?
This man.
Oh, God. MAROPS, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good shit.
Yeah, it is.
Anyways, that's it. Check out Team Never Quit at Team Never Quit on Instagram, the podcast on iTunes. Check out Marcus Luttrell at Marcus Luttrell.
I had to make
Team
it
Frog
easy.
Logic.
I had to make it easy.
The Wizard.
I'm the Wizard TMQ.
Yeah, and if you want to check me out, at Vigilance Elite. See you next week.
Check me out.